What's going on, everyone? Tayler Kyles here for CLNS Media. This week, we're previewing the top 5 players at the top 5 positions of needs for the New England Patriots. Today, we're diving into the wide receivers. Similar to their quarterback situation, the Patriots had one of the worst wide receiver cores in the entire NFL, full of guys who were older, slower, and while they did have size, weren't particularly impressive when it came to contested catches and jump ball situations on a consistent basis. Demario Douglas did prove to be a bright spot as a young 6th-round pick, but considering his concussion issues and the fact that he's undersized even for a slot receiver, he's not really someone that you can rely on a consistent basis, so the Patriots are probably going to have to spend big to try to bring in a receiver to supplement the group. Now, at the top of the list has to be Jaguars receiver Calvin Ridley, who sat out an entire season but still managed to put up 1,000 yards with Trevor Lawrence. Ridley's a guy who's versatile in terms of the fact that he can be an isolated receiver as an X, but also slide inside or be someone who moves around the formation as a Z. Ridley brings more explosiveness than really any of the other options on this list, in addition to good size on the outside or in the slot if the Patriots wanted to target him on something like slot fades, where he can take advantage of his speed and explosiveness. Next up, we've got Marquise Hollywood Brown of the Arizona Cardinals. Now, while he is another one of the more explosive players on this list, his lack of size and injury history does admittedly worry me. In addition, I think the Patriots are going to go with an approach more akin to the Packers, where they look at receivers who have both size, agility, and speed. Now, while Marquise Brown is one of the few undersized players who can line up on the outside, again, because of his injury history and the fact the Patriots don't have a lot of big explosive receivers, I'm not sure he'd be the best option, especially if the Patriots are going to pay top dollar. Next up, we've got Darnell Mooney of the Chicago Bears. Now, Mooney's fallen off recently, mostly due to inconsistent quarterback play and a questionable scheme. He showed a lot of potential early on in his career as an explosive separator who was really good, especially against off coverage when he could set up defenders with his explosiveness. Now, while he isn't one of the more talked about options on the market, considering how many of the top options are already gone, Darnell Mooney could be an option who's on the more affordable side and could potentially have a rebirth in New England's system if given the right role. Next up, we've got Gabe Davis of the Buffalo Bills. Patriots fans will be very familiar with Davis as he had an absolute monster performance against them in the wildcard round a few years ago. Now, Davis is a big boom or bust player where he'll go stretches where he doesn't have much of an impact on the field, but then out of nowhere, he'll end up catching an absolute bomb and completely shifting the momentum of games. Now, if the Patriots are looking for size and explosiveness on the outside, Gabe Davis is one of the better options on the market. But personally, I think they'd want to go with someone who brings a bit more consistency, especially considering Gabe Davis is probably going to ask for a decent amount of money. To his credit, he was also a team captain for the Bills, and the Patriots could really use an injection of leadership, especially from their young skill players. So I don't think Gabe Davis is a great fit once again in terms of someone who can contribute consistently, but if you look at his character and as well as his measurables, I think he's someone the Patriots will at least consider as they look at the market. Lastly, we've got Curtis Samuels of the Washington Commanders. Samuel was an extremely reliable target for Washington as he caught nearly everything thrown his way, lined up in a number of different positions, and was extremely effective as a ball carrier. Now, Samuel has dealt with injuries throughout his career, which could impact his consistency on the field, but in terms of players who you know what you're going to get out of them and who can contribute consistently on the field and separate against opposing cornerbacks, which Patriots haven't done a great job of in recent years, he's one of the more sneaky options on the market and someone who'll likely come at a reasonably affordable price tag. Now, Odell Beckham Jr. is one of the more talented wide receivers on the market, but one, I'm not sure he's going to want to come to New England at his current age, especially coming off a season where he was on one of the best teams in NFL history. In addition, I'm not sure how much he's going to want to demand on the market or if the Patriots will be willing to meet it, considering while they do have a lot of cap space, it might be better spent on internal options as well as some players who can contribute more consistently than you might be able to expect from OBJ. While he did turn it on later in the season, again, I'm just not sure he's someone who fits either as someone who would want to come to New England or someone who would fit on a team that's in a rebuild.
Testing my skills on Prize Picks this season is the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $1,000 with just a few taps. Use the code CLNS for the first deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.